What reason do I have to keep these experiences to myself? I witnessed it firsthand, didn't I? From the first contact to the present day, I have seen humanity's emergence onto the intergalactic stage. Who better to recount their rise? From the Memoirs of Ambassador-at-Large Sree Tova'n, as I lived it, published by Baen Rocket Press, Terran Solar Year 2209. I traveled to Terra as a diplomat's aide during the early stages of contact. It was an entirely alien world to me. So backward, so strange, and steeped in the past. The first time I encountered them up close was at the transit station, where a group of men with rifles awaited. I struggled to understand why the human shipboard detachments carried knives on their belts, an odd weapon they referred to as a bayonet. Such an outdated item should be confined to a museum or melted down for use in furniture. Ambassador Sree remarked upon first seeing them. We voiced our support with enthusiasm, eager to demonstrate our commitment to the ambassador's vision. Our mission was to guide these primitive beings into the modern age and to discard their outdated customs, not to be swayed by their peculiarities. Terra was captivating, with its diverse people, languages, and foods, cultures within cultures, each vying for prominence. Though I had achieved adulthood, my youthful curiosity drove me to learn everything about these beings called humans. Then came Zethmandu. That's when we truly grasped the depth of humanity's survival instinct. By then, with considerable reluctance, I had been promoted from Terra to Chief of Staff for the consulate on Zethmandu Station, a crucial travel hub in the Galactic Confederacy. This was why the pirates targeted us. They saw the potential for substantial loot. They struck just after planetary sunset, with an EMP blast so powerful it disabled the station's defenses. Pulse pistols, railguns, sonic blasters, even disruptor guns, none of them worked. They overran us, and we were helpless. The human ambassador had arrived at Zethmandu, a refueling stop on his way to the pangalactic capital on Popsica, to demand justice for an attack on humanity's homeworld decades earlier. I was greeting Ambassador Munamori when the lights went out. "We must be under attack," one of my aides shouted in the dim light as the emergency lights flickered on. Around us, the honor guards formed a protective circle, their weapons pointed outward like a spiky creature from my own world. The ambassador, a tall, silver-haired man with swords at his side, turned to his guard captain. "Captain Donnerstag, any updates from the Callahan?" "Limited, sir. There's a lot of static and interference." "Sergeant Copley, get on it." "Aye, aye, sir," responded a tall Marine, moving towards the center of the circle as he rummaged through the neatly squared backpacks they carried. Next to Ambassador Munamori, his two aides had placed their diplomatic pouches down, revealing that they, too, carried swords similar to his. "Personal guards?" I asked, attempting casual conversation in the dim light. "Their families have served mine for generations. They are bound by oath to protect me. The Marines are my shield. Hazamoto and Nakamura are my swords." One of the Marines, a man with a weathered, scarred face resembling a battered asteroid, moved swiftly around the circle before returning to the captain's side. "Sir, the team is ready, but all our electronics are fried." "Thank you, First Sergeant." "I'm getting updates from the Callahan," Copley reported. "Someone triggered an EMP device on the far side of the station. They've breached the observation deck in the promenade area. The Callahan's on emergency power. Engines are locked down. The bosun won't have them operational for at least 30 minutes. Fear twisted in my gut. There was only one group bold enough to attempt this, the Reteha, a notorious band of outlaws. They were suspected of being behind the bombing of Terra's first shipyards, though no one could prove it. The Jelvani Confederacy had long shielded the Reteha from justice. "What do you suggest, Captain?" Ambassador Munamori asked. "We can't escape or hide, and I really don't want to die," Captain Donnerstag replied. "So we stay here?" "No, sir. If the enemy is dead, they're no longer a threat to you. We'll sweep the station, board the enemy ships, and eliminate all hostile forces." "The Reteha could number in the hundreds," I protested. "They're a violent, frenzied mob, and nothing seems to work." "Nothing electronic," Captain Donnerstag said with a grim smile, "the kind humans often wear." He drew his pistol from its holster, racking the slide to check the chamber. "First Sergeant Torres, have Cox Ralston and his bluejackets bring the special munitions to me." "Yes, sir." "Gunny Moore." "Sir." "Prepare to repel boarders. We need to retake the promenade area." "Aye, aye, sir." A thunderous boom echoed across the landing deck, an impressive sound from a human's small frame. "All right, you ugly sons of bitches. The company will advance to the promenade deck and repel all boarders. Staff Sergeant Baen. Here, Gunny. Second platoon takes the lead. Move out. Belligerent second. You heard the orders. The Marines let out a strange, barking sound as they charged for the door. A surge of gleaming brass and dark blue uniforms moving efficiently. Part of me wanted to find a storage crate and hide, knowing what awaited them. Yet I couldn't show fear or hesitation. A member of the Pangalactic Diplomatic Corps could not be seen as lacking at this moment. So I followed. 19 years have passed since that day. The bloodstains are long gone. The deck plates gleam, scrubbed clean in the dead of night by diligent robotic staff, undisturbed by foot traffic. The pungent scent of human gunpowder has vanished. Air scrubbers, recycled and efficient, line the concourse, while the sweet aroma of kupaboba flowers fills the space. The anguished cries of the dying are no longer heard. As you approach the promenade's center, silence prevails, not enforced, but by an unspoken agreement. In this serene space, a ring of cherry trees blooms eternally. Their petals fall onto real human grass, decomposing and enriching the rich black soil beneath. Within the circle stand the marble sentinels, their weapons aimed toward the distant windows where the attack boats breached the station. Munamori stands there, katana in hand. Hazamoto and Nakamura flank him, resembling their ancestors. Their faces show not fear, but resolve. Marines stand beside them. Captain Donnerstag, striking in his blue uniform, commands his men even as they face certain death. Lance Corporal Baen impales a pirate onto the deck. Dark-haired Corporal Kahimana wields a broken rifle in one hand and a K-bar knife in the other. Gunnymore fires steadily while standing over Doc Baker, who protects Lieutenant Vetter's body with his own, struggling to keep the lieutenant alive. On the far left, Lieutenant Ns shields terrified Krivak nestlings as he steps in front of them. Nearby, Sergeant Tolliver, with a guidon in hand, has driven the flagpole through the skull plate of a Rteha Corsair. The head of the pike stands out prominently. Not all of them perished there on that ground. But in the promenade, while the vile Rteha scum broadcast their atrocities to the galaxy, Terrans earned their fearsome reputation. We had considered them backward, childish, uncivilized, and unclean. I learned that day they are all that and so much more. They embody bravery, courage, and an indomitable will. They possess an insatiable drive to thrive and survive, marked by arrogance, bravado, honor, and pain. The last four traits are what the Terran Marines thrive on. Their training emphasizes enduring beyond the imaginable for the sake of victory. Victory above all. I witnessed their rise, fall, and rise again. When Sergeant Yen threw himself onto a grenade without hesitation, I knew the Rteha were finished. Such selflessness is rare among the Piliath, Krivak, or most other sentient species. We tend to look after ourselves, but humans value life differently and demand others respect that value. In their quest for this respect, they delivered harsh justice to the Rteha. Marines and Bluejackets pursued their enemies into the attack boats that brought them to Zethmandu, slaughtering any who resisted without pause. When they ran out of ammunition, they used their knives, and when those broke, they fought with fists and teeth, cutting their way through a throng many times their size. In desperation, the pirate captain attempted to flee. Only then did the Marines withdraw, watching and waiting. In the darkness, a new star emerged as the primitive hydrogen-fueled fusion of the Callahan obliterated the vessel from space. Not a single Rteha savage escaped the swift and certain justice meted out by the cruiser. An ambassador, 2 aides, 123 Marines, and 18 sailors arrived at Zethmandu Station. That day, 3 samurai, 53 Marines, and 7 sailors lost their lives. 71 others sustained severe injuries, including the loss of limbs or organs. I lost a third hand and an eye stalk while dragging 2 wounded Marines to safety, trying to emulate their bravery. Their survival was thanks to my efforts. We buried the fallen in the promenade, cremating their bodies on a pyre of their own slain enemies. Over the ashes, the humans planted a garden adorned with statues, a solemn monument to the fallen. In the 19 years since the storming of Zethmandu, humanity has erected numerous such monuments. Wherever a traveler encounters one, they recognize they tread on hallowed ground, steeped in the blood of the valiant. Many come now to witness, to marvel, to reflect. I, however, avoid the statues. The marble likenesses are unnecessary. Their faces are etched in my memory. Opposite the humans stands a polished plinth carved from the hull of a captured attack boat, names engraved in cold platinum. Above it, in bronze, are the boots taken from a sergeant's body, his rifle, and the white disc hat he wore as he, like many others, charged to his death. I sit on the bench before this simple, austere monument, contemplating the inscriptions for all who visit. And I understand the essence of humanity. No greater friend, no worse enemy. Author's note. The names given are those of individuals who served in the U.S. Army during World War II. Sadao Munimori, Mikio Hazamoto, William K. Nakamura. All three were Nisei members of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team and were posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. Their names are preserved here to ensure they are not forgotten. Go for broke. If you appreciated this story and wish to show your support, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel. Additionally, for each comment containing 88, I will heart every single one. Thank you for your time.